Hey guys, my name is Emma and today I'm going to be talking to you about my 2019 reading goals. I am using my bullet journal today to show you some of my goals because I have done some spreads for them. Like last time, I am going to set my goal to being 100 books. Now, I am expecting my reading habits to change in 2019 because I'm about to transition into a completely new career path. So for anybody who didn't know, I was running my own business throughout all of 2018 and I have been for the past 4 years. But I'm now about to transition into more conventional employment, which involves more of a standard 9 to 5 and shorter lunch breaks, but equally hopefully longer weekends and more free time in the evenings. So I don't quite know how that's going to change how I approach my reading. The idea is as well that it's going to hopefully give me more time to prioritise some of my other hobbies that I have, which I really haven't been able to do this year because I haven't been able to commit to things like classes or stuff like that because I don't know when I need to be working in the evening. So my plan is to hopefully be able to do more stuff than just reading, but I'm hoping that 100 books is a totally viable and realistic goal. So like last year, I have drawn myself my little bookshelf. I'll try and lean forward so you can see. I did a funkier font this time. I was playing around with fonts for my bullet journal, and each shelf has 10 books on it. It's got 40 over here, 60 here, nice and simple, and I'm just going to colour them in when I read them. Somebody commented on one of my other bullet journal videos about whether there was any colour coding to them. I don't currently have a colour coding system and I'm probably not going to introduce one just because I think it's going to get way too complicated. So it's just any random colour. Now, I do have some specific goals for the kind of books that I want to be reading. This year I have been trying to read a few more non-fiction and classics books, but I really didn't put too much pressure on myself because the goal was just to get reading again in general, which was something I hadn't really prioritised for a good 3 or 4 years up to this point. Whereas now that I am in a good habit of reading, I really want to think about what I am reading. So one of my goals is to read more non-fiction and one of my goals is to read more classics. And for both of those, I've picked the number 20 as a good goal. So we can see here I've got almost 2 identical spreads, the only major difference being colour. We've got non-fiction on one side, classics on the other, and there is just space 1 to 20 to write in when I've done them. And I like the idea of doing this throughout the year so that I can keep an eye on it rather than getting to November or December time and realising, oh dear God, I've got like 35 books of non-fictional classics that I need to read to catch up. The thing that I really want to do is I'm reading War and Peace in 2019. That will be one of the classics that I want to prioritise, and I am doing this in theory as a bit of a buddy read along with Read All Over, whose channel I will link down below. So let me find my copy. So this is the copy that I'm planning on reading. This is the vintage English Library Russian edition, which is as in not, the book isn't in Russian, it's their Russian library edition. They have about 7 or 8 books from various Russian authors. I have Anna Karenina up there somewhere as well. This year in 2018 I read The Count of Monte Cristo, which was something like 1,200 pages. War and Peace tends to check out at like 1,400 pages for most people's copies, so that is a major goal of mine, is to try and take on something this big and hefty. I do have some other goals when it comes to my channel, and at the moment I'm averaging about 2 videos a week with the odd week here or there where I end up doing 3. I'm going to hope to try and maintain that volume of content, but again, like I said, I don't really know exactly how things are going to go because in the new year, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will have a new job. I don't currently have one yet, but I'm sure I'll find one and it'll all be fine. So I don't really know exactly how it's going to change my scheduling demands. I'm quite happy with the content that I'm putting out right now. I'd like to start getting into more reviews and more recommendation videos. I definitely get sidetracked with some other things. So I've got some big ideas that I want to really work on, and I'm going to be doing more of those challenges like I did with my dad because that was really fun. So I've got a few of those on the horizon. We're doing one January, February and March, so keep an eye out for them. There's going to be a fair number of funky changes to my TBR. Now, one thing I really did want to prioritise in 2019 is getting a handle on my TBR because oh my god, since finding BookTube and watching so many videos and really prioritising my reading, my TBR has grown just exponentially. I've never owned so many books that I haven't read yet, and it's kind of stressing me out a little bit because I don't like having them on my shelves when I haven't read them. So in the effort to try and slash that, what I've done is I've created a bit of a, not book buying ban, but book buying system to help. So at the moment I have just over 100 books on my shelves that I've not read yet, and that's either in physical form behind me here or in ebook or audiobook. This isn't including the 200 plus that I've listed as want to read on Goodreads. Those are just books I'm vaguely interested in. So what I'm going to do is in 2019, I have myself a little tracker here. And basically what I'm going to do is for every 2 books that I read, I get a book credit for one that I can go and buy. So I'm not allowed to buy any books until I've read 2 books. Did that make any sense? It's like for every 2 books I read, I can buy one. And this will hopefully help me to halve my TBR, which will be really good, and will make me hopefully think a little bit more about some of the books that I'm buying and that I'm prioritizing. I'm not worrying about what format they're in. It's not as strict as like 2 audiobooks to be able to get an audiobook or anything like that. It's just for every 2 books that I read, I'm allowed to pick up one. So I'd like to read more graphic novels as well. I don't have a specific number or list for this, but I would like to get both into continuing some of the graphic novel series I've started. I have a whole long list of ones that I want to get into, and I really want to try and break back into the superhero world because they are really fun. I figured I'd just show you some of the other book based spreads that I've done in case you have a bullet journal yourself and you want to steal some of these. So along here I've got my like books out on loan, because I realised that I'm now lending more books and I'm losing track of what I have and what I don't have and where they are on my shelves. So this has just got the book, who it's to, and whether it's been returned or not. And I'm thinking as well I can also use this for anybody who lends books to me, so that way I keep track of what ones I have on my shelf that aren't actually mine. I tried to do it a little bit like a kind of library page. And then over here, this is just my readathon calendar. So as soon as Little Book Owl releases the readathon calendar for 2019, I'm just going to write in some notes for the ones that interest me now, so that way I can kind of flick through and I've got a bit of a better idea of what's going on yearly. On that note, I also have a bigger YouTube planner. I was really playing around with fonts with my kind of big spreads for the beginning of 2019. That's really the only theme here. So the idea is that each box is one of the months, and if there are some specific things that I know I want to film, for example, I know in June I want to do the mid-year book tag, but I will probably forget that that's coming around. I wanted to do the fall into autumn book tag this year, and I totally spaced on it and didn't plan it in. So I've already got it there in September ready, so that I know what it is that I want to be doing. And then on a similar one, I've just got kind of some general mind dump pages for booktube. Do you have any reading goals that you have for 2019? How are you doing on 2018? Like, are you stressing because you're nearly at the end of the year? Actually, by the time this one video goes out, it will be the end of the year. You'll have like 2 days left. I'm sorry, I'm filming tons in advance because I'm away over the Christmas period and I keep losing track of when my schedule is. So you've got about 2 days left. Have you finished your goals, or are you like frantically cramming and reading right now? What big goals do you have? I mean, I'm trying to take on War and Peace. Do you have any books on your TBR that you know that you definitely want to get to? I think that's pretty much it. I'm just waffling now. I love you all. Have a wonderful new year, a really happy reading week, and I will see you in 2019. Bye!